Yo, 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 it's your boy Joe.
This your boy Greg. We the co-pilots from coast to coast. We do the most. So what's your flight? Whatever it is, we got you covered.
And man, how's that going today, my brother?
Same as usual, man. You know, out here, on my way to out here in Virginia right now, man. On my way to Texas, whatnot. Same as usual.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'll be taking a flight tomorrow to Chicago, so I'll be out that way, man. Spend a few days out there. You know, my son getting ready to graduate Navy. And also we're gonna me and Clint we're gonna catch a Chicago Bulls game. They open up they open up against Detroit Pistons tomorrow,
Oh
so
man,
we gonna catch one of the game
I,
that game while we out there.
y'all got me wishing I was up that way too. Nah, I
Yeah,
would have went.
man.
I would have loved to join with y'all, man. Y'all me
Yeah.
about
So,
see what I can catch out here in Texas, man. Right now, I should ride there a little early, man, a day early.
hopefully you can catch something. You know what I'm saying? You know Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Something. So let's get started with the show tonight, man. We're gonna start with man. I don't know what you want to start at, man, because the whole state of Florida took L's this week, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I guess we can start with college football, man, and we're gonna start with that and talk about a little bit of that from a college perspective, what we learned this week, and I think we need to just start off with our beloved Florida State Seminoles, man. You know, they seems to never to amaze us under Mike Norvell. Another bad loss under his regime. Um, and I think the writing's on the wall for Mike Norvell, man. I think his course has been ran in Florida State, and we've seen the best of Mike Norvell at 13 no season, and we've seen the worst. Stanford, Jackson State, and the list goes on, man. 2-10 season. I don't think we can never get to that 13-0, that dominant season again under Mike. It was a genie in the bottle. And I think we know what we get with Mike Norvell now, man. It's just this team is just not Florida State standard, man. And you
Yeah.
look over this weekend and the mental errors that you see from year one, you're seeing in year five. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna get no better, man. I mean, I don't know why he's a laying duck out there right now. So your thoughts, Greg?
Man, I hate it for Mike Norvell, man. I think for the most part, and I always say this, I think Norvell is a good coach. As a matter of fact, I think he's a great coach. But we know that, man, if you want to be consistent, man, along with coaching, you have to have talent. And one of the things he has failed at is recruiting. Being able to keep your players that you bring in, a lot of five-star has committed to us, then they decommitted from us. So, and I think that's the biggest part right there. And you pointed this out, developing talent. You got to be able to develop your players. If you're not going to be able to develop players, parents are not going to let their kids come to your program because we know that in the end result, parents want to see their players go to, the NFL, go to the league and be successful. But if you're not helping to groom their talent, you're not going to be a good landing spot for a lot of these kids to go at. So, and I think that's the main thing with Mike Norvell. I think that he's a good coach, but as far as developing talent, we haven't seen it. You get what I'm saying? And we bring a lot of our guys in. I bring a lot of our guys in off the transfer portal, which has been successful for us. But you have to be able to groom talent and also be able to recruit. And I think that's one of the things that other schools got to jump start ahead of us on right now.
Yeah, man, I agree with everything you said, Greg. Man, you got to be able to get that talent in there, man. And, just listening to a lot of like respectable people that cover this team, man, and they just say how the talent gap is across the state when you look at this Florida State team. And I think for us who grew up watching Florida State, we never seen Florida State look this bad, man, on the field, man. And it's kind of depressing, man. It was so bad, for me, man. On Saturday, I couldn't even live stream like that. Bro. I couldn't. I didn't have the energy. Florida State had took me. It took me there, man. I mean, just to lose to Stanford and the way we lost to Stanford, man, it was embarrassing. You know, go up down the field with a backup quarterback, 90 something plus yards. It was embarrassing. Like
Right.
Florida State, like we was their homecoming. We're laughing stock of the ACC right now, man. And Florida State shouldn't be that. We the bullies of this conference, man. And
And
to watch how far we've come.
one of the things I was hoping Mike Norvell be able to fix the problems that existed. And but the thing is, it's like, and this is what I have learned under Mike Norvell. When things are going good, they go great. But when things go bad, he cannot seem to fix his problem in season. You get what I'm saying? And that matters. Being able to fix your problems in season. That's one of the things we have seen Alabama do this year. You know, well, once they lost us, they felt like the sky was falling, but those problems got addressed and they got fixed. You know, and we see this with a lot. We see this with a lot of teams that may have taken a loss or two. But to continue to lose like this is like when things start to go bad, they get worse and worse and worse as the years go as the season goes on. And that is a major problem. You get what I'm saying? Like and I mentioned this. Sometimes you're allowed to have games where, you on upset alert. Some of the best teams been upset throughout the season. But to have this constantly happen and continue to lose to get teams that are inferior to you is a big issue or whatnot. And I think that's one of the main things that boosters, fans are looking at. Even what I'm saying, these are things they are looking at. When it comes to and come to analyze saying is shit. Norvell is the guy for the job or not.
Yeah, man. I think you got to also just look at too, man. Like, I mean, we've already behind on a lot of stuff, man. And I mean, I think you just look at the way the university is handling this whole situation. It says a lot of things. I don't know if we have the money for a buyout. Or could they be doing something behind the scenes that they have a guy that they have named and they just haven't said it yet? They're working to get our ducks in a row. And just I think right now, for me as a fan, we just in disrespect. I think a lot of us, at least I did, felt like firing him would be the best thing. If you're going to fire him at the end of the season, why not just fire him now? You're going to fire him you're going to fire him at the end of the season. And you give this guy hope, thinking that he can save his job. You know what I'm saying? So I think, if we're gonna wait to the end of the season to do it. I mean, I think it just gives us a disadvantage when you got all these other schools looking for coaches right now.
Right. But I
So
think like I think one of the buyout thing is that one of the things that's keeping this job secure because it's going to be hard to pay the price tag and also bring in a new head coach. So it's like some decisions, man, it's like you pretty much stuck with. You get what I'm saying? It's like you stuck with it for a while. Some things not a quick fix, easy fix.
yeah, man. Look like we may be in for a little bit of mediocrity for at least I would say the next 2 seasons. So,
Yeah.
Florida State fans, y'all gonna have to bear with us, man. We ride through this rough tide, but all things all, we'll get over it and we'll be great again.
Yeah.
So let's speaking of somebody that we thought was back, we thought the U was back. That they were saying, and the U took a loss over this weekend. On Friday they took a loss to Louisville Cardinals, and I think a lot of people thought this was gonna happen, man. And you know, I thought the U. I was rooting for the U this year, man. They beat us. They beat Florida. I was like, man, this might just be their year, man. Mario Cristobal do Mario Cristobal things, and he stunk it up again in this game right here where he made some questionable decisions. And we just knew at some point in the season it was going to be Mario Cristobal in his decision making at time. And I think, just a couple of things that he did in this game that you question. Like at the end of the half, you got 3 timeouts. You just got to stop and you're down right now. You need to try to push the ball. But, you know, he was scared. I guess Jeff Braun had scared him. Hey, we're just gonna take it into halftime. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was a bad move, and it was, of course, other bad moves as well. When you're driving the ball, and then it's like you slow your own team momentum down as you're driving, doing things. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's a little bit in the play calling, but you know what I'm saying? Again, like I say again, I have to bring Mario Cristobal. That was my thing. And it happened again. It's just unfortunate, man, that again, another coach is this is what you're gonna get with Mark. This is him.
Right. Um, Another thing you gotta ask yourself too, man, is Louisville a good team? You get what I'm saying? Like Louisville just could be a good team, you know, and we know that, man. You can't teams can be beat now, and so I'm not gonna be devil's advocate with Miami this time. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna be optimistic about it. It could be a quality. It could have been a quality loss. You know what I'm saying?
So
Um,
you copy please for Miami right now. That's what it
huh?
sounds like, Greg.
Huh?
You give me copy please for them.
I'm saying maybe like it. You know, the sky's not falling as of right now. Um, because they lost to a good Louisville team. Louisville is what only got one loss this season.
Right.
Now that's my biggest question. Like, is Louisville that good? You get what I'm saying? But we know that now. We know as far as talent wise, we know that Miami has the better talent. Um, Now, as far as what you say with Mario Cristobal, we already know what time it is with that. You know, Mario Cristobal can outcoach himself at times. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much something we deal with. I mean, they have to deal with. Sometimes he can get in his own way, and especially when you have 2 years back to back, you have had dynamic passes in your offense. You get what I'm saying? And still didn't get the job done. So but I think that they will continue to be relevant. As long as they keep making a strong push. I don't think the U is going to give up on them. You know what I'm saying? As long as they continue to make I don't think the U is going to give up on Cristobal as long as he continue to make a decent bowl game. But I mean, pretty much all the decent bowl games are in the playoffs. But we know this: Miami cannot stand to take another loss. You get what I'm saying? Because you have teams in the ACC that's still undefeated, and a lot of people feel as though it's going to be Miami and Georgia Tech that play for the ACC championship. But at the same time, if you don't play in the if you're not playing in the ACC championship, and you have two losses as an ACC team, um, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make a case for you. It's going to be hard. You know,
It really is.
I think Miami can win out. You know, but we know Miami have teams that they struggle against. I'm not familiar with their schedule, but we know that when it comes to teams like North Carolina, they tend to struggle. Georgia Tech, they tend to struggle. You get what I'm saying? I mean, not North Carolina,
Right.
like Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying? These teams give them a fight.
Yeah, man. And I know this is gonna be a good matchup if these two teams make it to the ACC championship game. Over the last 2 years, Georgia Tech they had their number.
Right,
So I mean, this is not gonna be an easy game. So it could be a mental thing that could come into this thing uh with this Miami team. But like you said, bro, Miami can't lose more games because the ACC has been beating up on everybody right now. It seems like, and this conference is already labeled as one of the weaker of the Power Four, so they can't win. They can't lose more games. I think the biggest concern, what I seen watching this Miami game was the fact that Miami got pushed around, man. You know what I'm saying in the trenches, and Louisville hung up, still toe to toe with them. They was
right.
able to neutralize that those two ends, that Bain kid, those guys, and they had a
Ruben
solid
Bain.
game plan for Miami, man. I mean,
Right,
I think teams gonna look at this tape and be like, this is like a blueprint, to exploit this team, and they're gonna figure it out. But I thought Louisville had a great game plan.
right.
So, do you think Carson Beck can be fixed after these 4 interceptions?
Oh yeah, I mean, Carson Beck has been there, man. He done played against some of the best teams in college football. So, my concern is not Carson Beck. The talent is there. The talent is on the team. It's just it all fall back to coaching, man. It all fall back to Cristobal. Is he going to be the guy to lead this team?
Right.
Um, like I say, man, it is when you. I mean, I would say championship or bust, but when as of right now, it's pretty much playoff or bust. You know,
Big facts.
you want to consistently have your team, especially as an ACC team. You know, you want to have your team in the conversation. You want to be relevant.
Right.
Clemson is like they taking a step back. Don't know what's going on with Clemson. They are not the team to beat in the ACC as of right now, and it's pretty much Miami. You know, you can look at Miami and say you can see them kind of somewhat being a consistent team. You know, but at the same time, and I say that because of the talent that's over there. But at the same time, I mean, if we know that how the Miami fan base is, if you know, the ex, it's a lot of expectations. So if he's not living up to the U expectations, we know how the fan base going to get. They're going to call for him to come out of there. Hey, press the co-pilot button to put the
Yeah.
map back up there.
Yeah, man. So I mean, you made some good points, Greg. I think after this loss, they could bounce back, get in the playoffs. But like I said again, right now, man, we Miami they can't lose no more, man. And I feel like they're
Right,
going to need a little bit of help too, just to solidify things. I think Virginia or maybe NC State, one of these teams at the top will have to lose again, just to get them that extra. You know what I'm saying? But if that happens, just
yeah,
going to make the ACC even more watered down. Because they ain't gonna mean you went from two maybe possible teams getting in to maybe only one team getting in. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I mean, but still a couple more games. Still got what 5 more games to go left in the season for all these teams. So let's see how Miami can finish out, man. And see if they don't go into that slide like they did last year.
Right.
So let's talk about Florida, man. Florida actually got a win this week, and they still fired their coach, man. And it seems like sources out there look like that they want to go for Lane Kiffin, man. What's your thoughts on the Greg?
Um, Yeah, that's pretty much what Florida been tied to talks with Lane Kiffin. Don't know how it's going to play out. But I think I think if Lane Kiffin do leave Ole Miss, I think Florida be the team that he go to. You got some heavy shoes to fill, man, playing at Florida. It's almost like that talk about being at the U. But I think that being at Florida, you pretty much have more time. You pretty have more of a grace period, because we
Right.
seen how patient Florida was with coaches like Will Muschamp, and so on and so on. And so we know that Florida is pretty much a patient program. But at the same time, it's like at the same time, it's expectations with that program as well. Um, but I think that, it was something like I think with his daughter didn't want him to leave or whatnot. But at the same time, I think Florida should be able to I think they'll be able to buy him or whatnot, man.
Yeah,
I
man. I think
think
it could be a good look for these guys, man. Lane Kiffin. You going somewhere that that you got a machine behind you in Florida. And
right,
one thing I know about Lane Kiffin as well, he can recruit. So
right,
I think this could be the perfect match for him. But I think Ole Miss may try to give him an extension, man. I think Ole Miss know this is like the best they've been as far as relevance in college football. So even if you guys are not like going to the playoffs and stuff like that, like I say, Ole Miss, man, you still going inside the bowl games. Lane Kiffin is still generating a lot of money for the university. So I think they may strike an extension, but
yeah,
like I said, Florida got money to where they got fuck you money to Mississippi to Ole Miss money. The
right.
NIL guys they'll pay. So I think that's a hard conversation. But if they was to get Florida, Lane Kiffin, your thoughts, Greg? Do you think that's make them an instant contender?
Yeah, when you consider the talent that's already over there, of course. I mean, I wouldn't say a contender, but I would say they could be a team that can sneak up. You get what I'm saying? Like
Gotcha.
they gonna be competitive. Just like overnight, you're a contender. I'm not gonna say that. Could happen. Not gonna say it can't. But I'm just gonna, pump the brakes, and I'm just gonna say that, I can see them being competitive with him in their first year.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they can keep the roster currently there, A lot of people getting the transfer report. I think this team definitely can be definitely a competitive team. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know if they get Lane Kiffin, man. I got a feeling, man, like a James Franklin type of coach is going to be there, man. That's going to get the Florida job. I don't see Lane Kiffin going. I know they want him, but I just don't think. I don't think Lane's going to go there. I think Mississippi, Ole Miss, sorry, they're going to strike a deal. They're going to get him a mistake, and I think he's good where he's at. You've already built something there. You know what I'm saying? Um, and you want to be you lost over the weekend in Georgia, but you still got a chance at the SEC championship. You know what I mean? So I mean, if some things go in your favor.
Right.
So I don't think I think he stayed. Uh, any final thoughts on college football this week? You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
I'm saying any standout stuff that you see that I ain't catch throughout college weekend.
Say what that?
I say, man, any other final stuff, any stuff like throughout college weekend you want to talk about that that I might not be in the dress or something. You know what I'm saying? An interesting story or whatnot.
Nah, I ain't got nothing else on college.
All right, man. So we're gonna move along to join the conversation as well to NFL, man. So let's start with our Jags, man. And
Okay.
it was a bad week of landing for us. 35-7 drove into the damn Rams. You know what I got to say about it, man. I've been getting in Twitter wars and Instagram
Yeah.
fights about Trevor Lawrence, and I just think that overall, man, he got to play better. Defense played like ass. Everybody played like ass. But the person that's been here the longest and getting paid the most is Trevor. And I
Right.
think, when you look at the situation, he got to just play better overall, man. You can't continue to keep giving him excuse after excuse about this terrible quarterback. I think
Um,
that's what I mean. Straight up. I can't even go no further. I've been so exhausted. Talking
my thing, pretty much, like I say, man, I think, with our fan base, man, we just got to be honest with ourselves and whatnot. As fans, we want to see Trevor play good. You get what I'm saying? And I know I done went on numerous rants about Trevor, and I done had people say, I done had people that did disagree with my opinion or whatnot, which is cool. You get what I'm saying? You're entitled to it.
right.
And I like these type of debates, but we cannot be delusional. That's the thing, man. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I welcome all debates. I love debating sports and whatnot when it's backed up by logic. I would not argue stupidity. You know what I'm saying? I would not argue with nobody that's delusional. You know, it's like, man, you know, like now watching this game, right? You know what I'm saying? My assessment on the game or whatnot, the receivers I think the receivers need to do a better job of catching the ball. The offensive line can do a better job at protection. You get what I'm saying? But my thing is this, man, and I was saying this earlier. What about the times when it was a clean pocket and misfires and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, when you couldn't complete these layups?
Right.
A pass to the flat. You misthrow a ball in the flats to the running back. You know,
Right.
you miss a guy 5 yards in front of you. You know, these are the plays that I'm critiquing Trevor on. You get what I'm saying? Now, granted, if the line hold up, receiver catch these balls or whatnot, maybe we had a better chance of winning the game. True enough, I agree with that. But nevertheless, and I'm not just pointing this out because we lost the last two games. I even pointed this stuff out when we was winning games. You get what I'm saying? I pointed out what I seen that was different, things that he improved in, and I also pointed out the things that he was still stagnant in. You know what I'm saying? Like I pointed out that early his release was a lot quicker. You know, but now he's not. It's like he's forgetting how to scan the field. He's getting back to the same trouble from last season. You get what I'm saying? It was a play, right? And I always mention this. I always mention about the pre-snap read or whatnot. And the thing that I mentioned was this, with your protection. And I brought up how the offensive line last season played better under Matt Jones than it did for Trevor Lawrence. Key example. when we seen Lake, right, which is Cornell Lake's son, by the way, who played for the Steelers and he also played for the Jags. When we seen him line up when he came in to come blitz, Trevor Lawrence did not recognize the blitz and he did not put nobody to block him, which who made the play. So these are the things that I'm talking about. It's different that when you just not getting when they're just coming in with their front four and your O line is not being able to hold. You know what I'm saying? Hold the line from that point versus when you have a safety that's coming in to blitz, a linebacker that just coming in. You have to be able to recognize your blitzes, and this come with film watching and pre-snap reads. These are the things I always mention about Trevor Lawrence. These key things or minimize sacks. These, what I'm saying, is things like this would minimize the pressure that's coming in the backfield. You get what I'm saying? Now, nevertheless, the O line they do have to play better. But when the O line has held up, Trevor Lawrence we still seeing glimpses of what we saw last season. You know what I'm saying? His deep ball is still off target. He's not accurate with his deep ball. You know what I'm saying? So and it's like when the run game is not there, it's like we're no good when the run game it don't exist. So and coming into what year 5, year 6, you know, it's going to be questions asked. You get what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people don't like it. They feel like we're being critical, looking at saying that the receivers need to catch the ball. True enough, the receivers do need to catch the ball, but the leader of the team, when the leader of the team is also playing bad and having miscues, that's where the problem come in at. You know what I'm saying? That is a big problem. We know that you're going to have receivers that's going to drop passes. You get what I'm saying? Mahomes, and we know that you can't compare Trevor Lawrence to Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes won. Not only did he lead his team to a Super Bowl, but he won the Super Bowl when his receivers led the league in drop passes. You get what I'm saying? So, and I say that to say this, man. It start with a leadership standpoint. It start from a leadership standpoint. Your quarterback has to play better. You get what I'm saying? That comes with even though your receivers drop passes, but when the play was available, you made plays, and that's what Trevor got to do, man.
I agree, man. And you hit everything on the head, Greg. My biggest thing is with all these Trevor Lawrence dick riders and people that want to keep defending him is when you guys are going to admit what he don't do right. Because it seems like you guys always point the finger at, you guys needs more time. And like, bro, like, I sat today and I looked at Josh Allen, not Josh Allen, I'm sorry, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and who's the other quarterback that's been playing good as a late.
Matt
Sam
Jones.
Darnold, Matt Jones, not Matt Jones. Freaking. Well, anyway, I looked at a bunch of these older quarterbacks that was drafted, and it was about between years 5 and year 7 that these guys started to turn the page. I would think that this year 5, at this juncture, Trevor Lawrence will be playing a lot better at this age. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even though he's still 25, 26, whatever, he's still young. You should start the bell should the game should have somewhat slowed down. You get what I'm saying? So like
Right.
some of the stuff like you said, the announcers kept saying the layups. You still missing the layups at year 5. You shouldn't be
Right.
missing the layups at year 5. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
it just seemed like with Trevor Lawrence, everything is not clicking. Like he'll learn how to, you know, run the ball, but then he'll forget how to scan the field. Like he can't put everything together. He put pieces and pieces together. Like with Trevor Lawrence, you're gonna get at least in the 18 game season, you might get 3 to 5 elite games from out of Trevor. But you like, damn, he franchise kid. Then you're gonna get sprinkle a few mid games, but then you're gonna get bad Trevor the rest of the way. You know what I'm saying? And it leaves you confused. Like, what is this kid? Is he mid? Is he elite? Is he ass? You don't know it all. And I think
Right.
fans have to be honest with themselves. Like, Trevor Lawrence, guys, y'all got to be honest. honest with yourself with is because, dog, it's just not clicking, bro. And I think, in order for this offense to go into like fully excel, they're going to need Trevor Lawrence at his best. He's calling plays in the audible, and I don't know if you catch this, Greg. He'll wait about five seconds, get on the clock, and then want to change the play.
Right.
Like, bro, like you can't do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get if you see you call. That means like what you talked about goes back to what you saying pre-snap thing. He's
Right.
not grasping it. He's not understanding the defense fast enough to make the calls, get to change the play. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It's like these things that he continues to struggle in that the common or the average guy that just watch football is not picking up on, and someone like us that we see.
Right. And I always and it's my thing, man. I think Trevor Lawrence is still a talented quarterback. I think he has the talent. Um, but at the same time, it's like what we're looking at. We're looking at Jameis Winston 2.0. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And a lot of people don't want to admit that. They want to feel as though like and a lot of people, we have to stop pointing out the 30 interceptions from Jameis Winston. You get what I'm saying? That was a rarity. You get what I'm saying? Um, when we do the comparison, when I do the comparison, it's not all the ways about stats and numbers. I do the comparison because both of these dudes was first round draft picks. They was rare talents. Like these two guys, man, coming out was first overall, and they was pro ready. They was ready to start day one without a question. You know,
Right.
um, and they got the arm talent, but they cannot get out their own way. This is why I made the comparison with Trevor Lawrence and Jameis Winston because you see the talent is there. It's
Right.
not like it's not like when you look at some of these other first round picks that we saw and we like he just don't got it. He just don't have it. You know, he can't make every throw. These guys can make every throw from what we have seen and whatnot, but it's like they tend to get in their own way now. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
this is why to clear it up for people that wonder why I made the comparison with Trevor Lawrence and Jameis Winston. That is why. You get what I'm saying? Forget the numbers. If that's the case, then you shouldn't argue against me when I make the comparison with Jameis Winston and Eli Manning. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're going to
Right.
bring up the two Super Bowls or whatnot, things of that nature. But if we're going by the numbers, their numbers are similar. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And it came in my head who that other quarterback was, Daniel Jones. That's
Yeah,
who.
danger.
So yeah, man, I agree, bro, man. And I mean, I think for me, when I look at this whole thing with James Winston, man, and you just look at the division right now, you got Daniel Jones balling out while the fucking Colts. They looking like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Then you got the Jaguars, sitting 4-2, which we still in good position. We're not going to complain, but like it just feel like it's a lot left. We left a lot out this first half of the season. A lot out.
Right.
We could be in better shape.
And my thing is, man, I think, like I say, man, I really disagree with how been using. My thing, man, I disagree with how we've been using Travis Hunter, man. I think that we could utilize him more, whatnot. I think that, man, he should be on defense, and I think that, like I say, man, we're not utilizing him like we should. You know what I'm saying? And and we seen what he did against Devontae Adams when he came in and whatnot, man. And Devontae Adams killed us the whole game. And when we put him in for that play, and it was a crucial down, we knew he was going to him or whatnot. He made a big play right there. You get what I'm saying? And it's like we should have been able to see more of that, and we wasn't. We just had him in. And that was the first play he came in. What, like late in the second half?
Yep, and they took him
So
right back out.
right. So it's like we're using him, and this is my thing, right? This is my thing. If you're only going to use him at receiver, right? Why did you trade up to? You know what I'm saying? When you could, it serves no purpose to trade up for a talent like Travis Hunter, and you're not going to utilize him. You get what I'm saying? And I know it sounds repetitive, you know what I'm saying? But these are the facts. You know, you have to utilize a man out there, man. It's especially more on defense. Safety. I mean, when you're talking about cornerbacks don't put a lot of wear and tear on their body. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, of course, if you know if you got to go against a running back, but we know the first line of defense is the D line, then it's the linebackers and whatnot. You get what I'm saying? You know,
Right.
when you look at contact with a cornerback, you know, cornerbacks mostly finish with like in a game 2 tackles maybe. You get what I'm saying? So it's not a lot of contact. You know, when you're looking at cornerbacks like that. So you know, it's different when you're talking about a running back, a linebacker, a lineman. You know, things of that nature. So I feel like, man, you know, we definitely should utilize him on defense, man. We definitely should, man.
Yeah, Liam Cohen said in the press, he did a meeting this week, earlier this week, and he was saying about they're going to start using him more often. Like they're going to have the best 11 guys on the field moving forward. So I think that's a sign that he's going to start playing both ways. And I think the reason why I want to push back on the Jacksonville Jaguars a little bit, because I think that you got to give these guys enough chance to get enough data information to say, okay, hey, can this guy hold up playing both sides of the ball? And I think after the Landon, the blowout, when they put him in there and stuff like that, they can see this guy can come in and make plays on both sides of the ball. So now that they see that he can make impact plays on both sides of the ball, I think they can see they we can start trusting him more on both sides. Now the only thing about that is if we're gonna have him playing both sides of the ball, that's a lot of information to try to retain for games. So I mean, we're gonna have to
So,
figure out how they're gonna do that. You know, if they're gonna
but
be
now,
primary using them on offensive end, you know, how we game plan and how we get him to retain information. And then for the same thing on the defense side of the ball, is it going to just be situational or you're going to be cornerback one locking down the number one receiver every week for the opposing team? So I think that's something we got to look into consideration too, man. But we're on the bye week this week, so we got a whole lot of time to figure all this stuff out.
see, but the thing is, that's the reason why you traded up, you know, and gave up a first round pick for it. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, if it, you know, it make it like I say, man, like I've been saying, it makes 0 sense to trade up and give up a first round pick and some more stuff if you're not going to utilize them. You know what I'm saying?
But let me piggyback off of that too, Greg. I don't think it was a proper issue with them using them how I think everybody want them to. I think they needed to see can this guy hold up. From what Liam Cohen was saying in the press conference earlier this week, he was saying basically like they need to see, you know what I'm saying, you know, because people forget that, you know, he was banged up in the preseason. You get what I'm saying? So I think now it was in the regular season, we got like half a year of games up on his belt. I think now they can start to use it how we want to see him being used. And I mean, yeah, we could have probably started earlier than expected, but I think you had to give him that time to see, all right, can this guy? Because if this guy would have made got hurt, then we got the media saying, oh, you should have made him choose a position and all this other crap. So now I think you see it moving in the bot a bigger usage of Travis Hunter.
So I think, man, like I say, man, you know, I think that, like, you know, Trevor is only gonna get so good, man. So you establish that defense, man. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the positions, man, you always want to have right on your team, right, is a shutdown corner. A shutdown corner will make a big difference on your team. A quarterback when you're talking about far as the offensive side of the ball and the left tackle when you solidify your offense. But when you're talking about a defense, man, two key spots, man, you always want to solidify. You know what I'm saying? A pass rusher, you get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say that's rare to find. A D tackle, a defensive tackle, and a cornerback, shutdown corner. And also a D tackle that can rush the quarterback. So, and that's why I say, man, when you get a talent like that, man, you know, especially at a position we are in need of, you know, you have to use them now. You know, when we looking at from the receiving standpoint, and this is my thing coming into the season. You know, Brian Thomas Jr. We felt like, you know, we had our number one cornerback. I mean receiver. Brown coming in. You know, Um, so those spots was pretty, pretty solid or whatnot. And you can also sprinkle Travis Hunter in that. You get what I'm saying? But when you're talking about on the defensive side of the ball, of course we had Tyson Campbell, but we know Tyson Campbell was probably coming off one of his worst seasons last season. You get what I'm saying? So it was a lot of concern there. And we knew that, and I think the franchise knew that they wanted to get rid of Tyson Campbell as well. But the thing was finding a team to bring him in. We know that, man. Greg Newsom, man, ain't gonna cut it. You know, Greg Newsom ain't gonna cut it.
Well, I ask you
Mark,
this though, my man. I hear you, Greg. But right now, bro, to be honest with you, bro, we're gonna have to use him on both ways now moving forward. Like as far as I get what you're saying, making him as a primary defender guy, if we was to, make him choose a position. But you have no reliable weapons on offensive end right now with Brian Thomas being hurt. Um, it seems like Travis Huntley is your most reliable receiver right now.
right. But I think the team benefit better from him playing cornerback. And the reason why I say that, right, because you still have to have somebody get the ball to him. You get what I'm saying? You got
Right.
to think about like all defense, right? Our run defense has played good this season. You get what I'm saying? A lot of teams don't run the ball on us like that. Teams average what? Probably not even 4 yards to carry. We look at what our defense they gave up. It's pretty much been in the passing game where we have suffered it. So, like I say, man, you bring in and that comes from not having not having a lockdown corner. A lockdown corner makes a big difference when it comes to the defense. You know, on the offensive side of the ball, we still have Travis Etienne. Um, Brian Thomas will make plays here and there. Parker Washington will make plays here and there. But we know that, man, when it boils down to it, man, Trevor Lawrence still has to play. You can you can sprinkle Travis Hunter in on downs and whatnot and allow him to be a playmaker here and there. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, on the defensive side of the ball, you just can't sprinkle nobody in on the defensive side of the ball and have productivity from your defense like that. You get what I'm saying?
I understand your point. It's a lot of decisions they're gonna have to make, man. Trying to figure out how they do it. But I think both sides make cases that they need Travis at this point, man. Because at this point in the season, man, I think he's pretty much our best player on both sides of the ball right now. Honestly, when you're looking at just how he's played, well, at least last week. I'm not gonna say that for the whole season, but at least last week he was the best player on both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? Defensively and offensively. Uh, Moving on to some more bad quarterback play in week 7 is Miami Dolphins, man. Tua came out. He was saying all this stuff about teammates and throwing people under the bus like he was that dude. Took only to go out there and lay an egg on Sunday to one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns, and they did not just lay an egg. They got blown out. So my thing is, Tua, dog, you got to shut up and humble yourself, bro. You're not that guy. And use another guy that I think got paid too early, too. You know, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know what might be doing to Tua either as well, man. What's your thoughts, Greg?
Um, my thing is with Tua, man. Now you have to look at, man, Brian Flores and say, man, is what he was saying was valid at the time he was in Miami. You get what I'm saying? Like his argument holds some type of validation now. You get what I'm saying?
Really
Like
do.
he has a great argument. He has a case now because he wanted to move on. He wanted to bring in his guy, and that's one of the things I think that when you have head coaches, you should allow them to do. Bring in their guy who they're willing to work with. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't
Right.
always be I'm gonna give you this to work with. You either take it or leave it. You know. And I think that you always have to allow the coach to have some type of say so in team building. And see, this is my thing with the Dolphins, right? You get what I'm saying? Because I think Mike Daniels is finna be the next to go. I think he's finna be the next coach out of there in the state of Florida. This is my thing with the Dolphins, man. Dolphins team building has been really horrible. You get what I'm saying? if you look at it, over the last couple of years, Miami will go after a flashy pick, and that's what they'll bring in. You know, they have a ton of head scratches over the years. I look at when they had Xavier Howard, and they brought in another cornerback. Then knowing that they had a offensive line that wasn't, that wasn't solid, you take your first round pick and you get another cornerback that you didn't even use. And so it's like it's a ton of head scratches with this team, man. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at when they brought in a Dominican Sue, you paid a lot of money to bring him in. That didn't work. Um, you look in when they brought in Jalen Ramsey, you paid a lot of money to bring in Jalen Ramsey. That didn't work. Um, Even Tyreek Hill, and I will say, with Tyreek Hill, he did make the team look somewhat good or whatnot for a while. But at the same time, that wasn't the thing. That wasn't the issue with this team or whatnot. We knew the issue was protecting your quarterback. So this is one of the things I say Miami struggle to do is team build. That's the main problem, and I think, man, it's a problem. It becomes a problem when you have a team when you have so many owners. That's a part of this team. You get what I'm saying? And it's pretty much looked at as a product that people invest in because it's lucrative, you know, versus investing in a product to make it a winning franchise. So, and I think that's and I could be wrong, but I think that's one of the problems. You have too many owners, too many people, had got their hands in the cookie jar, and it's nobody that's coming in to willing to make the Dolphins a serious threat. You can't always go out the flashy pick when you don't have a foundation. You know, the New England Patriots was able to do that when they brought in Randy Moss because they had a foundation. They had a defense. They had a run game. They had an O line. You know, um, so, and I would even say the same for the Cowboys. They was able to make that type of move because they had a foundation. When you look in when they brought in bringing in George Pickens. You had
Right.
all you invested. Even though they're hurt, you invested in your old line. You had a quarterback. You had another receiver. So your offense was pretty much solidified all the way across the board. You get what I'm saying? The defense can use a ton of help, but you had a foundation with your offense that can win you games, that can win the division for you. Dolphins, on the other hand, it's the same thing. You're not going to win a division like that. Still going to be the team that's at the bottom, man.
Yeah. Dolphins is I didn't think about it in that totality that the team building aspect, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, it just shows you why this team is in so much disarray, man. From the owner, management, coach, down to the players, man. It's just a bunch. And like you said, man, I think Michael Daniels get his walking papers. If they get another bad loss, like against Cleveland, this upcoming week. I think he could be a fighter in this.
Right.
So let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks, man. They took a bad loss to the Detroit Lions, 24-9. Baker Mayfield couldn't do his heroics like he been doing all season. And bring me to the question, man: is Tampa Bay frauds? Or are they still a legit team after this loss to the Lions?
Certainly not, man. I still think Tampa Bay is a legit team. You gotta take this into consideration. Their O line is banged up. Your receiving core is banged up. Chris Godwin is out of there. Now you can look at it and say that, yeah, they still was able to have success in spite of, but at the same time, when you're going against a team like Detroit, let's be honest, Detroit is one of the best teams in the league right now. They could be a team that can win it all. You know, but and this is who they lost to on the road. So all these things I take into consideration. And also Mike Evans, he's hurt. You know, so you got to take all these things into consideration. So I will say, man, Tampa Bay are still a legit team.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay's still a legit team too as well, man. I think they still could win NFC South. I think they still a clear favorite. A team that I thought was legit. was the Atlanta Falcons. No, they let it ebb with the 49ers, and I thought they would win that game based on all the injuries that the 49ers. But the 49ers keep one of them teams that they just a resilient team, man. They keep fighting, man, with injuries and everything, man. So
Yeah.
that was my fraud.
Right.
So,
I think Penix, man,
fake Tampa
Penix.
Bay.
You look at hold on, what's it like? You
Go
look
ahead.
at Penix in his second year, man. You know he's still developing, and I think that's one of the things. Like when you look at this team or whatnot, I think that when you look at Atlanta, man, their Achilles heel is Michael Penix. Not saying that he's a bad quarterback, but he's still developing. You get what I'm saying? He's still developing as a quarterback. We know that he's an exceptional athlete. You know he can get out there and make plays, but as a passer, he's still developing. So I think once that come around, I think you're looking at a team that's a threat. It's a reason why they choose to roll with him over Kirk Cousins, who's a seasoned vet, you know, because he has the talent. You see the potential in him. But we know that sometimes, man, with potential, a lot of times, man, it comes along, slower than some others. So I think that, like I say, man, he's still in the development stage. It's only his second year. So once he developed, you're looking at a better Atlanta team.
Yeah, right now, man, who's carrying that team right now is Bijan, man. He the
Right,
dude, man, offensively, man. So you know, I think he's a guy that can be definitely set for MVP this year.
right,
So right now, man, say here watching the Oklahoma's play against Houston Rockets. Open the NBA week. Rockets is up 51. Kevin Durant is let me see, leading scorer for the Thunder right now is Chet Holmgren with 18, and Kevin Durant is leading Houston Rockets 14 points. Right now, it seems like a pretty close game. It's gonna be another game. I think Golden State play tonight too. So they got the 10 o'clock game, and they're playing on NBC. I didn't get a chance to watch the opening of the NBC NBA on NBC, so I gotta go back and see if somebody got it online and see the opening of the show.
right,
You know what I'm saying? They got a pretty decent lineup. Carmelo Anthony, a couple other old NBA, Reggie Miller, so it's
right,
all part of the crew there.
right.
Yeah, man. Any arrivals in the parks for this week, man?
Yes. My arrival this week, man, I gotta go with Drake May. And it's crazy, right? I was in Nashville over the weekend, right? And I started to go to the game, right? And the thing was, I was like, well, damn, I the same when I was in Nashville last year. I was in Nashville when Tennessee played the Patriots, and that was the game I went to. I went to that game now, right? And I was like, damn, I don't want to go see. I would have went, but I chose. I had other stuff I was doing and whatnot, right? And and so and plus I still had to get on the road that day. You know what I'm saying? Later on that day, but even though Tennessee won that game last year, I left that game like, man, you know what, man, New England got them got their future quarterback, man. I said, I ain't know if anybody realized it or not, but I was like, man, Drake make it play. And that was one of the things I noticed last year. I might have talked about it on the podcast, I don't remember, but and it's showing this year. You get what I'm saying? He got a quality win against Buffalo. You know, and like I say, man, and they could win the division. A lot of people got Buffalo penciled in, but New England could win the division. He yeah, Mike Vrabel, who I always raved about, who I felt it was a good coach. I thought Tennessee should have kept him. I think that was they probably their worst mistake, letting him go. Then
Yeah,
also, man, they got their old OC over there, man. You know what I'm saying? Josh McDaniels. We know that, man. Josh Daniels was a very crucial piece, man, over there, man, when it came to working with Tom Brady in that offense. Man, we know he didn't do good as a head coach, but when you look at it as being an offensive coordinator, He's probably one of the best in the league. So
Yeah, man.
my rival this week, man, I gotta go with Drake May, man. You know, he's been balling out.
Yeah, man. That's a good pick, man. My rival for this week, man. Um, I'm gonna give it to Joe Flacco, dog. Get Joe Flacco my rival this week. You know, he looked good against the Bengals, man. And if he can play like this the rest of the way with the Bengals, man, he can get them back into that playoff conversation. You know, that a lot of people had wrote Joe Flacco off that he was old. I still think he's an old motherfucker too. But for him, that when you got weapons put around talented quarterback like Joe Flacco, who's been to a Super Bowl winning quarterback, he gonna pick you apart, man. And I'm just interested to see how he look the rest of the way with the Bengals, man.
Right, right. That was
That's
up.
my rival for this week. My departure this week, I gotta give it to Michael Bell. I was between him and Trevor Lawrence. I'm gonna give it to Michael Bell. It's dog. We've had so many firsts under Mike Norvell. Let's start counting. First lose to FCS, Mike Norvell. First double digit 2-10 season. First time losing to Stanford in their first meeting. Four back three back-to-back 4-game losing streaks as a head coach. You have Bobby Bowden never did that. Jimbo Fisher never did that. Sweet did really. We didn't give him enough chance to do that. So he's the first to do that in a long time to have two consecutive back-to-back four winning streaks. The list just could keep going and growing with this guy, dog. And I like Mike Norvell. I do as a good person. I think he got a good heart, all that shit. But when it comes to the game of football, dog, you do not have it, dog. And I'm sorry, bro. We gotta let you go, dog. And he's my departure for this week.
My departure, man, I gotta go with Tua, man. You get what I'm saying? Tua made a rant, you know what I'm saying? He made a rant in his press conference by people not showing up to meetings. Then you come in, you lay an egg, you throw 3 interceptions. You get what I'm saying? And not only that, man, you get what I'm saying? You got your head coach. You're gonna get Josh McDaniels fired. You get what I'm saying? And you got your last coach fired, which was what his name is?
Flores,
Flores. You get what I'm saying? So and Flores, man, this team was winning under Flores and whatnot, in spite of Tua's bad play at the time. Um, and I think, like I say, man, I think Tua I think Tua's a good quarterback and everything like that there, but it's like the amount of money these quarterbacks is getting paid, and no, I'm not counting nobody pocket, but we know how it is with quarterbacks, next man up, that's who get paid, and and I think, man, it's somewhere down the line it's gonna be a stop to that, because at the same time, man, you have to be able to play a lot of these other players as well. It shouldn't be just about the quarterback getting paid and everything like that. You have other players on the team or whatnot, and I get it. Quarterback is the most important piece. Granted, yes, they should be compensated. You know what I'm saying, more than their teammates if they are playing better than their teammates. But you have some quarterbacks that are just pieces out there, man. You get what I'm saying? They're playing good because of what they have around them. And like I say, man, Tua looking bad, man. Maybe he can redeem himself. But as of right now, he's on my departure list.
that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. And so, quick show this week, man. We want to come on. You know what I'm saying? We got you guys up on the hour this week, man. We ain't hold y'all up, man. So, the old win last week will be dropped tonight. So from last week, so I found out what was going on. So I have to wait a couple days after we live stream for YouTube to allow me to download it. So now I got the little system going. You guys, after this live stream, last week's episode will be up on iTunes and all the other streaming services, man. So be on the lookout for that, man. So as you know, it's your boy Joe,
This your boy Greg.
and we out. Peace.
Yeah.